This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So yes, let me introduce myself. My name is Rajesh Kumar, and I'll be your main instructor for this course, which we have DevOps and SRE. Okay, and we will have a few more instructor also, and you will get to know, you'll interact with him when the session will get started for them also. Some of the tools which will be done by them. So yes, I have started my career in 2005, close to 15 plus experience, 15 plus of years of experience I'm having. And some of the organizations I have worked, which includes uh, Accenture, Mindtree, IBM Lab, Adobe System, Intuit, ServiceNow, JDA, Nest Technology in India as well as abroad. From last few years, I'm doing the training and consulting program, and that is how I'm with you guys right now. So I can help you anything in terms of DevOps, SRE, anything else also like DevSecOps, and any other questions also which you have, feel free to ask me. All of my information you can find it at rajeshkumar.xyz. You can connect me. You can connect with me over the social networks and all stuff like that. Here you have all this information. Okay, so now I'll have a little bit of short introduction from you as well. What is your background and what is your expectation from this training? So I'll just align this session and all the sessions as per your need. So Anshu, can we start from you?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone, and thank you, sir, for connecting this session because we have waited for a long time. So I would like to introduce. Currently, I'm working in L&T, and total I have 6 years of experience, including RPA and little bit of the testing. So currently I am working in RPA in L&T. Before that I worked for Acronautics Private Limited, and prior to that I worked for State Street Corporate Services, that is bank. So I have the expectation from this course, like I have started learning DevOps from myself. So thought of to join the course and getting some structured knowledge. So it's like learning by myself here and there, like by one tool, and unable to connect from one to other. So expectation is to getting the good hands-on and getting the good projects so that we can showcase our skills in the organization and or like switching our job.
Yeah. Harsh Kumar.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone. It's Mike here. I'm from Toronto, Canada. So I just graduated last year, so I have like 1 year working experience here in a bank. So I work in data ingestion and data transformation team. So I wanna switch roles towards more DevOps side. I've worked with the DevOps teams here, so I'm quite interested to move towards the infrastructure side. So that's my that's what I want to learn and get more experience and hands-on on the tools that we use in our pipelines, and then eventually move into a DevOps role.
Cool. Prasanna.
Hi everyone. So okay, it's a little bit tricky, but I'm having almost 25 years of experience. So I am a senior manager working with Aon Services Corporation. So the expectation from this training is, again, I'm basically into general management, IT management, okay. But now I want to basically start the next phase of my career. So I'm no longer interested in the general management side because of various reasons. Again, at some point of time, I was actually working with cloud management, cloud operations, cloud native applications, then production support. Okay, so I want to basically enhance my skills, which I believe to some extent is a little bit rusty at this point of time, and it is going to help me when I'm going to switch my career to maybe a kind of core technical team member, core technical person in the DevOps side. So yeah, DevOps and SRE is going to help me in that.
Right. Ram?
Hey, hi Raj, everyone. So I'm having total 11.5 years experience in IT. Like in the past 11 years, I worked as a Java web development. I worked as a L2 support, infrastructure L2 support, and L3 production support. And last couple of years, I'm more into an SRE, more into some level of automations and monitoring kind of setup. So the reason why I'm here, basically I'm confused with so many things, which are expectation from various organizations. I want to be frankly, I want to put here. So I attended a lot of interviews in the last 2 months. Finally, I joined one organization recently, Wells Fargo, but I attended a lot of interviews, and everywhere their expectation is different. They keep changing their expectation with respect to SRE. So what I heard is like some people are asking core DevOps stuff, but I am from the development and automation monitoring, some kind of SRE. My way of thinking SRE is something I read completely 2 books of SRE published by Google. I read completely. So my assumption is different, but the expectation from the different organizations are different. So I want to get a clarity, like what is your call? I mean, how can I, generically how can I prepare, because I'm now 11 years and I want to, in future, in couple of years I want to become architect or a senior manager. So I want to create my own SRE team if I landed into new team. So how should I look at, for if any brand new application, if it is they hand over to me, how can I build a SRE team? Okay, that is one thing which I want to learn, if it is really part of this course. What goals have to set up for that new application basically, and how can I convert a scratch application to an SRE kind of a model. Okay, that is one thing which I want to know. Correct me if it is not part of this course. And next thing is, can I expect the DevOps tools? Because a lot of teams, I mean, even a lot of videos after I am watching, like, understood that DevOps and SRE both are like together. It's not a individual separate thing. These are, completely, a lot of concepts are, interlinked. So like DevOps should also, we should know, because you need to deploy something, automation code or whatever. So people are expecting the DevOps tools also. So can I expect some like, DevOps stuff, like deployment stuff or integration, continuous integration or something like that? That is one thing. And as I said initially, right, I'm very confused, like, if I want to say confidently I'm a SRE expert, so what are the tools, basically stack tools, which I should aware? I mean, even you just explain us, these things are should be there, but I'm covering, even if you cover like 10 or 50 to 70%, that's fine. But let us know like what exactly to become a good SRE, because I want to move, journey in my career. Like, I want to explore and I will learn on my own, even if this course does not cover that, if anything. And I want to connect all these dots. And one more thing, what I heard is like people are migrating to cloud, from on-premise to cloud, and cloud migration also they are keeping, covering into SRE again. Migration, data center migration, all these things are also some database related migrations. All these things are, keeping in SRE. So should I really learn the cloud related stuff also? Because AWS, if I take, like, there are three giant platforms like AWS we have, and Azure we have, Google, GCP. So which one we have to learn? If really SRE person should know the cloud, which one we should focus? I mean, you must know, like, what is the business, what is the industry expectation, which one we should start with, and what all things we should learn with respect to SRE. So a
We'll
lot of
discuss that.
questions, a lot of confusions, Raj, but just give us some conclusion, show me right path, so that will be really helpful to
Sure.
continue my journey into SRE. Okay.
Surekha?
Yes, can you all hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. My name is Sureka. I'm actually have been in the software industry for a good 20 years or so, but mostly on the Microsoft .NET framework kind of things. I've been working in the US for a good 20 years. I was visiting my sister here in Hyderabad, and my team is now getting into DevOps. So I thought, well, while I'm visiting family here, I have some time So I thought, why not learn some new tools? So that's why I'm here.
Cool. Yeah, so we will have same things delivered to everyone, and we'll get started our journey. Anyone have any questions before we get, into the theory?
Possible,
Mhm.
whatever you're typing, is it possible to put that in chat so we can copy and paste, or do we need to write it on our own?
Yeah, so I'll just sum up the stuff. First thing, where do you where do you get the slides? Where do you get notes? Where do you get videos? And where do you get a tutorial? Right? So I'll put it in a simple way, so it'll be easy for you. I'll share one link for you, so you should spend time with it and become comfortable. And that is this one. I want you to spend a good amount of time today. Go through each and everything, make yourself familiar with it. All these links, it has certain things, certain resources to get onboarded with SRE and DevOps. Here, left side, you see the number of tools which we have. And for each tutorials link, video link, quizzes, interview questions, notes, PDF slides. I'm removing this, by the way. We are moving to HTML slides, blog, command, shortcut, cheat sheet, sample. So I'll try my best to, keeping update this content, but if you find some links are not working here, there, please notify me, I will correct. But yeah, I'll check after today, maybe tomorrow, if all links are active or not. But that's the one thing. Now, in simple way, if I say you don't have, if you think, oh, Rajesh, there's too much of URLs here, so I'll make your life easier. And but I will insist you to spend some time over there. Okay. So all these notes you'll get it here. All these notes. Specifically, my notes you'll have it here only. So as per the tools, let's say Ansible to notes, Artifactory, Datadog, all this you can find it. So end of these sessions, I will upload that device. So for example, Ansible device, I will upload these notes here, and you can access it anytime, no problem. Now all these 5 slides you can find into this place, slides. Okay. If some of the slides, if you don't find, remind me, I will get it updated by data team. All the videos. So you guys are registered participant. So in a public, we have a multiple channels also. You get a videos over there also. But your videos will be in a detailed way and advanced up to the advanced level. Where do you get the videos? LMS. Here, learning management system. Here you get the videos. So let me put it up in this way. Let's say Terraform. And Terraform, we have a 4-hour session.
Rajesh, one
Yeah,
quick question. So if I understand correctly, this LMS access will be for lifetime, right?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So for example, we have a Terraform. Now Terraform sessions will be for 4 hours. And but in the LMS, you will get a recording of at least 16 to 20 hours. That means lots of content. You will find it here. Okay. Now tutorials. I think you know that everyone is relying upon the Google and all stuff like that. So that's that. But I am also writing lots of tutorials for all of us, and that's you can find it here. So for example, I'll just give you a clue. It's you have so much of content here. So just write Ansible here, and all this tutorial related to Ansible, you'll get it here. Let's say you Kubernetes, and all these Kubernetes related tutorials, you'll get it here. Let's say you find a Docker, all the Docker related tutorials you'll find it here. So yes, many of the tutorials I'll use it for here from here only. You can say step by step guide for sessions and stuff like that. So yes, this is the stuff, but I would insist you all to spend some time here. Get familiar with it, because most of the content you have it is just like you just need to spend and become comfortable. Because if you become comfortable with the URL, then definitely you can enjoy this content. Else you'll have questions in your mind and you'll keep asking, hey Rajesh, where is a commands, or where is a interview questions, or where is the answer? I mean, everything you will keep finding it. So spend some time here and you'll have a nice direction. Okay, so are we okay with it, all of you?
Yeah.
In LMS, Raj, like there are some folders, right? I mean, it is showing 2000 January batch, something February batch, something, right? So, do we need to search specific to this batch
So
in LMS?
no, we don't upload the batch videos batch wise. What I will do, the moment the session is over, after 15 to 20 minutes, I will copy the video link, recording links, and share with you in the WhatsApp itself. You can download it within a 24 hours and keep it in your laptop. Let me remind you, 24 hours. And again, we don't the sessions what we have, we don't manage those videos. Why? Because every day there are tens of sessions which is happening. So we don't want to manage such a large video and stuff like that for each and every session. So here I will give you the recordings. You'll keep it. It's your responsibility to download it within a 24 hours. We will do that. But the recordings you'll get it here is basically advanced session. So let's say some of you, let's say Ram said, hey Rajesh, I want to learn Kubernetes, but in a complete detail, advanced one. So here we have a dedicated session for Kubernetes, and that's get recorded, and it's a complete sessions, and you will find in LMS. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your videos, I'll transfer it to the same day, but advanced videos you will find in the LMS. Okay. So here, how do you access the LMS? So here, login, and remember, use the same Gmail ID. Okay. Same Gmail ID which you have here. Okay. So you can click on the Gmail, Google, and log in. After that, I will assign access to each one of you in the LMS. I believe some of you have already got access, but the remaining people also will get access. Okay. Yes. So I will share all these notes. Just let me complete this. Don't focus on the material right now. Focus on the content, the which is streaming right now. Okay. I'll share all this step. Got it? So Sureka?
Yeah, that's fine. I can see what the URL is and I can type it on my own. I was just trying to
No.
avoid mistakes, but that's okay.
No, don't type right now, because now you won't get your notes. You will get the older notes. Right?
Okay.
So I will end of this session. I update these notes. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So that is a thing. So this is a primary URLs you want to use, but I must insist you all, please spend some time here. Okay, all of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions anyone have?
I had one. So how long is this going to be with the course?
Yeah, so in DevOps, we have a different duration. SRE, we have a different durations. So SRE will be little longer. DevOps will be little shorter. Now the question is how long? So for every tools, what we have in DevOps and SRE, there is one class planned for it. I repeat, it's a one class, and the time is allocation for 4 hours. Now that is the allocations for the timing for the courses. If you want to learn anything in advance, LMS is there, but yeah, I think 4 hours itself, if you can consume, especially my content, then I will really feel happy about it, because the 4 hours of content itself consumption is like something you are preparing for interview. That means you just consume the 4 hours of content for one tool, and I think you are ready for it. Okay.
Like 4 hours into number of tools, right? You are saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So I'll share the agenda, updated agenda. Actually, this batch was supposed to be started last week only, but there are some management issues and all, so it got postponed. So I'll share the revised calendar for each one of you. You can add in your Google Calendar, so you'll get a reminder. But anyways, be on WhatsApp all the time, so it'll be easy for us. If you think your number is not added correctly, let's say second, many people have a 2 or 3 number nowadays also. So I would request you to add that primary number so you will be notified for it.
Rajesh, one quick question. So while registering in the site, it was showing the total training duration is 60 hours. But if I remember when I was talking to you, you mentioned that it was about 80 hours. So what is the complete duration?
I don't know whether it's SRE or DevSecOps. So usually when I say anything, I don't go by the URL and refer that. But I'll just give you a very generic sense. Look at the agenda, look at the tools. Each tools will be covered for 4 hours and only 1 session. That
Okay.
I think you can calculate like that, because I
Uh,
don't have that metrics. I'm not from sales.
no problem. So okay, once you share the calendar, then probably it will make more sense.
Yeah. I'll share just today evening only. I have to update the calendar. Yeah. Any other question, guys? Okay. So let's get started. Just give me. Okay. So guys, important thing. I'm not going to use slides for it. Let's be a little bit realistic discussions and all. And this is not I'm something teaching you. You can feel free to discuss and share your experience. Okay. So first thing is let's forget about the DevOps. Let's forget about the DevSecOps. Let's forget about SRE. Let's talk about what we do in the engineering team actually. That's all. We should discuss what we do in the engineering team. And if we discuss effectively, I think we will have all understanding about all terminologies what we have. Okay. So there is a one thing which we call platform. Platform is a place where we run applications. There is a one thing which you call software development model. Correct? There is one thing which we call it a software architecture. Okay. And then one thing which you call it timeline. So now let's discuss about 90. I'm just putting rough numbers. 9080s to let's say 2000. Okay. And then after that, let's make it 2000 to 2015. And now I should make it 2015 to 2022, this year 22. Okay. So this is the timeline which we have, and we all are engineers. There's no problems in it, understanding the technical keywords. So let me ask you one thing here. At that time, okay, at that time in 1980s, what we were using in terms of platform, a platform, I must say, platform where we run applications. So to run our applications, what we were using?
Client server.
Oh no, platform. Platform means, okay, I'll put it up. I'll start this journey. Physical server. laptop, desktop,
Oh, okay.
right? Correct, no? I'm writing in a very odd way, so please don't mind. I'm just, my objective is to you to make you understanding, not like giving you anything else. So physical servers, we were running platform as a physical servers. Agree with me?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then suddenly what happened? You know what? Then suddenly the internet become very popular. This is where the internet has come. You know that. I mean, in India it came little late, but in USA and all, you know that. Correct. So internet came in 1974, if I'm not wrong, but actually it become popular in this duration. Agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now understand that we got the internet. So when we got the internet, okay, we got the browser. See, I'm not teaching you something which you don't know. You know everything. Just put in a right context. So think about it. Earlier, think about it. Earlier, where we had our applications, this is applications, okay? We had bundled EXEs. Applications were accessing EXEs and console. Console means what? The one which you are seeing on my screen is a console. Simple. Console based access. Okay. Now, when we got the internet, then how we were accessing applications? Using browsers. Correct now? Agree with me? Okay. So see that here we were running physical servers. Then we got a console. So the question is, anyone remember what are the models at that time in the 1980s to 2000 which was popular for software development? Anyone remember?
Waterfall.
Which software? Wonderful.
Waterfall.
I'll just write SD model, okay? Just to save space. It's a waterfall model. Everyone knows that. What is waterfall model? I'm not teaching you waterfall model, okay? If you still don't know, you can Google it off the session. So we were using waterfall model. In waterfall, sorry. So in waterfall model, what was the duration of the release? One release. When you used to do that, let's talk about the Microsoft, Adobe, Adobe, and other products. How frequently they used to do the release? 1 year,
Few
6
correct?
months, 1 year, 6 months.
Correct now. So that means, think about it. 1 year means, think logically, the software they were developing, they have to deliver in the 1 year. Duration was 1 year. So they say, hey guys, let's do one thing. We have to deliver the software in 1 year, and objective here objective of organizations. I'm writing it. Objective of software organization. It always is the same or same objective. Reduce in cost, software development cost or running cost. Okay, that is reduction in that price. Also improve quality of the software. That is their objective all the time. I'm saying organization, not engineer. And the third one, immediate release. That means immediate feedback, you can say. Release means feedback. Okay, so immediate release of the product. So they were always having this objective in their mission statement and org statement, objectives and goals and stuff like that. So some of the scientists came and said, hey, scientist means software scientist, practice scientist, and they say, hey, listen, we run application in the physical server. Users are using the applications experiencing using console, the one I'm showing you also, and we have to deliver the software in 1 year. So let's do one thing. Let's perform this waterfall model. Let's do waterfall model. So waterfall model is what? It's a practice, it's a model in which we develop the software. So software architecture at the time, what was the software architecture? Anyone remember? Software architecture? We call it a monolithic. Monolithic. Anyone would like to tell me what is a monolithic means? What is a monolithic means? Monolithic means a package. Monolithic means simple way. If I tell you, you install MS Office in your laptop, that software was monolithic. You install the Photoshop in your laptop, that was a monolithic. That means monolithic means all the features, 100, 50, 200, 2000, whatever the all features is bundled together. Bundled together. That's called monolithic. That means you cannot separate. If you separate every the software will not work. Simple. That's called monolithic. So what is the example? MS Office is the best example. Photoshop is the best example for monolithic. Okay. So monolithic software earlier we were developing. We were installing in what? Physical servers. The release for that product development was 1 year. So people suggested, hey, let's follow this model, software development model. Which model? Whatever model. Why? For this. So are you comfortable so far? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Then guys, we suddenly got the internet, which it's become popular in somewhere here. So then many people said, hey, we are running the application in a desktop. Can we run the application in a server? Data center. Think about it, simple logic. Why data center? So the moment you run that application in data center, so people can access through the internet and browser. You see that internet and browser. And we can sell the software. Simple. Now, let's say I think Hotmail, which was my first internet-based applications. So let's say if you're running Hotmail, think simple, okay? If you're running Hotmail and if it is down for 5 minutes, will you feel reliable software or safe? Would you feel safe or would you feel reliable? No, the software is, if it is down for 5 minutes, then it's not reliable. If it is not accessible, it's not a good software at that time. So we were able to access through those applications through the browser, but there were so many problems were there. What was the problem? So the problem were, let's say there's some problem in Hotmail, so they need to fix that issues immediately. That means in a simple way, if I say, you have to make a release. It can be major release, it can be minor release, it can be patches also. So the duration of the release, which was earlier 1 year, now probably it has to be reduced by 2 weeks or 1 week. That means in these 2 weeks, you have to do coding, you have to plan, you have to code, you have to test, and you have to deploy. So then people started, that scientists started exploring, hey, see, earlier we were running application in physical server. It was a monolithic. So console based, durations for release is 1 year. So waterfall was okay. But now we are running application in data center, browser based, and we have to fix that issue very fast, which you call it immediate release. Here you see. So we need to change the architecture and model also. Correct? Agree with me?
Hmm.
So which architecture we opted for it in the last 15 years? Tell me. Which architecture?
MVC, microservice.
Client server, JTR.
Yeah, so we call it SOA.
Okay.
SOA means anyone? Service-oriented
architecture.
Yeah, service-oriented. So what is service-oriented? In a simple way, don't complicate. Web server is a one service. App server is one service. Database server is in service. So see here, all the database, app, web, everything was here. Web was not needed anyways, but everything was into bundled together. But now we separate it together, separate it now. So we say, hey, database will keep it in a different service. With backend will keep it in a different service. Web service will have it in a different service. So we change the architecture altogether. Why we could change? Because of internet, magic of internet, because of browser concept, because of many protocol got developed and many things has happened. And because of this two duration, now you have to fix that issue. Instead of, you can't say, hey, Hotmail is not working, so it will take 1 year to fix it. Have you seen this statement? Bizarre statement? No. So they will do that faster. Correct, no?
Yeah.
They want to add a new features within 2 weeks. So now they change the architecture. So guys, here, once they change the architecture from monolithic to SOA, they have to change the model also, software development model also. So which model they opted for it? Any idea?
Agile.
Agile. Yes. Okay. Agile is a model which got opted for it. Simple. Now, why Agile got opted for it? Not because of someone wanted to apply new process. No, there is a requirement for it. Requirement was, hey, waterfall model is not allowing you to release within 2 weeks, but Agile is allowing you to do the release in 2 weeks. So here every work you do in one go, but here in SOA you have to do only small work, simple work which you can do in a 2 weeks. You don't have to do an entire product release in 2 weeks. Small work. Again, Agile and all, you can find out more about it. Agile, Scrum, Kanban, so many things are there in this. You can find out more about it. So guys, are you comfortable now how this evolution is happening?
Yes.
So see, the immediate release, you got it. 1 year to 2 weeks. Wonderful, I got it. Now improve the quality of the software. So here there were so many things has happened. So because of that, improve of the software, improve the quality of the software has happened. What? Like they start practicing coding review, this process, testing process, all these things, blah blah, automations tool and all stuff like that, and reducing the cost. So that was a problem here. So development cost, I will not say because it will become too much complicated. But how can we reduce reduce in the running cost? See here, look at the simple logic, guys. Earlier, Microsoft used to develop operating system that was a monolithic. So they will send us, they will sell a CD, and you will install where? In your laptop. So Microsoft is paying for your CPU and RAM, tell me, and storage is paying for it.
No.
Hello? No, they are not paying for it. Now think about it. When you're using Hotmail, where it's running? Where it's running? Hotmail is running where?
On a server.
Data center.
On a server. Have you paid for the Hotmail? Have you paid for Yahoo? Have you paid for Google search? Have you paid for Gmail? Have you paid for Orkut? If you have tried it out, no, you have not paid for any software. You are getting free of cost. So the question is very simple: cost. Who will bear the cost of running the software? So then you'll say, Rajesh, they are adding ads also. Yes, that's true, but how much money they make it? 1,000 people will click. 1 people will click on an ad. Now 1,000 people will browse a website. 1 people will click an ad. That means their perspective. Client is only 1 person, but they have to run a server for 1,000 people. Don't you think so?
Yes.
So they have to reduce the cost. Now the question is, there has to be done something here. So earlier, the data center also, it was powered by physical server. So to reduce the running cost, what they did? What they did? What they did?
Virtualize.
Yes, virtualization. You all know that. I'm not teaching you anything special. Virtualization, VMs, virtual machines, VMware, you know that. Then after that, we got a cloud like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure Cloud, this, that, and all. So now, to reduce the cost and to reduce the immediate feedback means if you set up a physical server, how much time it will take? 1 day. If you set up a virtual machine, how much time it will take? 5 minutes, 3 minutes, like that. See that setup time. Let's say 1 day from procurement to running the software. Let's say 5 minutes. So this is the evolution which is happening actually. So now virtualizations. So in this duration, we all started using virtualization software, which we used to get it in 5 minutes. Internet-based application, browser-based application. Duration for the release was 2 weeks because of Agile, and the software got into the fragments of services. So this evolution, are you comfortable with?
Yep.
Okay. So if you are comfortable with it, now let me tell you the expectation now. Now, what applications you are using? Earlier, they were using Hotmail and this, that, and all, Orkut and Yahoo. Now, nowadays, you are using Google Pay. Mind it. You are using Google Pay. You are using Paytm. You are using Facebook. You are using Gmail. You are using Instagram. You are using WhatsApp. Let me put it in this way. If you send a WhatsApp message to me and if delivery will happen after 5 hours, will you accept this behavior?
Nope.
If you make a payment to me and I will get it no notification, and or maybe failed, or maybe got delivery after 3 hours, will you accept this behavior? Merchant will not accept this behavior, correct?
Right.
So what? See, so your mindset has changed. You know, nowadays you are using app. Think about it, and everything you want 24/7 up and running. You want that app to be running 24/7. For example, let's say if it's very simple use cases. Let's say you have a Ola and Uber. I don't know how many of you are in India right now, but we have a two competitors, Ola and Uber, for aggregators for the taxi services. Now let's say if Uber is down for only 5 seconds, that means you are not able to access the app. What you will do? Tell me.
Go to Uber
Open Ola.
or somebody else.
Open
If
Ola.
Uber is not down, immediately we switch back to Ola, don't you?
Yes.
You will not be, you will not be thinking, hey, I've been using Uber from last 2 years. I'm a very, honest client, and I'm very dedicated client for Uber only, and I will only use Uber when they will come up. You will not think like that, correct?
Yeah.
Immediately you will switch to the Ola. Second time again it happens, you will switch to Ola. Third time, your first app will become a Ola only. Okay, so this is the impact. So that means what they have done, because of 5 seconds downtime or 10 seconds of downtime, Uber has lost millions of users. Think about it. So the challenge now is to run application 24/7, secure, stable, reliable, scalable, fast enough. That's the expectation from the end client. But you are not an end client, by the way. Okay, you are a software engineer, belongs to some software organizations. So you have to make it this working. So what you will do then? So what you have to do? There is a problem in the server. You have to fix it in 5 minutes. Yes, I'm saying 5 minutes. That means planning, coding, testing, all these things you have to do in 5 minutes. What to do now? Now you are using app. Everyone is connected through that app. If app is down, your business is down. So you need to make up and running 24/7. You have to have an immediate release from 2 weeks to 5 minutes now. And also you have to reduce the running cost because you are not paying for. So what do we do? So that is where we have to migrate something. So let's start migrating that. We have to change something. So let's change the architecture. So earlier monolithic, then SOA, and then after that, what is that we have?
Microservice.
Microservice. Okay, microservices. So from SOA, we got a microservices. We have to change the model also. So from our waterfall to Agile and Agile to DevOps. Now, what is a DevOps? I'm not talking about right now. Why DevOps has come? You see that because of this 5 minutes game, because of this stuff. Now, from earlier we were running the software in a physical server, then virtual server, then what we are running nowadays from last 5 years. Anyone?
Online
Cloud.
platform.
Cloud.
No, no cloud. We are running application in container. So here, see, if you want to run in the 1980s, one application, physical server, one day. In a VMs, you want to run 5 minutes. Now in a container, how much time it takes? Any idea?
1 second.
Yes. See that evolution yourself. So you have to be in this year actually, this duration. So you need to know how to run application in 1 second. That's what I'm telling to you. Do you know? If I ask you, hey, Suresh, can you run the application in 5 minutes? You say, yeah, no problem. Give me access to the cloud, AWS. I will run it. I'll create one VMs and I will install that software through Ansible or some software, and I'll make it running. Or maybe I'll create an image of it. You will be very clever. You'll say, I'll take an image, and next time you ask, I'll run within a 2 to 3 minutes only. Correct?
Yeah.
But now I want you to run application in 1 second.
Yep.
How can you run? Think about it. You are using apps based, that your end client, sorry about it. Your end clients is, you are a software engineer, your end clients are using app based, that means mobile and stuff like that. It was a browser earlier. Nowadays, no one is using browser. I'm not talking about you. Remember, I know you're a software engineer, you are still using browser, but your end clients are using applications.
Yes.
In mobile. So duration is from 1 year release to 2 weeks to 5 minutes release. How can we do that? Think about it. And earlier we had in a service-based oriented architecture, we have to migrate to microservices. How can you do that? And the model we have to change for waterfall to Agile and Agile to DevOps. So I'm teaching you this one. What is DevOps? I am expecting you to know what is a waterfall, what is Agile, monolithic, SOA, and console-based, browser-based, physical server, virtual servers. But I will teach you how can you run application in 1 second, how can you do the duration release in 5 minutes, how can you, what is a microservices, what is a DevOps, and stuff like that. So that is a problem you are trying to solve. Are you understanding?
Yep.
Your CTO is always reminding all of you, hey, you have to reduce the cost for what? Development and running the applications. See, they cannot ask you to reduce your salary, but they are forcing us to reduce the development cost. How? We need to find out. They are forcing us to reduce the cost for the running application in the data center. We need to find out. We are engineers for it. They are forcing us to improve the quality of the software. So 24/7, without even single second of downtime, you can offer the software to your end client. And they are forcing you to do the immediate release. How can you do that? So this is the objective for every organization, and this is your challenge. How can you do that? So this part I will teach you, and I'm expecting this part you know it already. Why? Because you see the year. If you don't know, I will insist you to do a little bit of more reading in offline. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember that I was the way you are doing DevOps training now. I remember that when I was working in Mindtree, I was sent to the class for Agile, learning Agile, workshop for Agile. So now same thing is like same thing. I learned Agile. Now you guys are learning DevOps. Why? Because of
So just one quick question. Again, as we are part of different organizations, so what we have noticed, most of the B2C customers, or maybe like the companies which you have quoted like Uber or Ola, they do not have any choice what to get into this DevOps model. But what we have noticed, a lot of B2B companies, they are still in the agile model. But and again, like the focus is there to move into DevOps model, but that pace is really slow.
Yeah, that's because of our mindset problem, sir, and initiative, lack of initiative. In fact, I'm managing one team, and I can understand the pain of it. So organizations wants to go into that, but here lots of challenges in terms of infighting issues between the teams, insecurity, lack of technology skills, and lack of initiative, and lack of right process in place. So many things are there, and many things we inherit from the past. That means, see, I'll tell you in a simple way. It's very simple. 15 years. Think about it. Very simple. 15 years, an engineer has worked in this agile model, and suddenly you will ask to change immediately to this model. So it's very difficult for him to change. It will take some time. It might take 1 year, 2 years. I'll put it in simple way, okay? I'll put it in simple way. Earlier, there is a planning done, then coding done, then testing done, and then finally operations done for the release and all. Agree with me? At a high level. Now planning was done by architect, coding was done by development, testing done by QA, operation done by operations, productions. And are you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say one of you is architecture, one of you is developer, one is a QA, one of you operation. Now, if I suddenly come and say, hey, Suresh, you need to do everything now from now onwards. Let's say you are a QA people. Suresh, you are a QA people. And I'm asking, hey, you have to architect also, you have to dev also, you have to QA also, you have to operationalize also. And you need to do everything. Remember that what is the mindset? 15 years you worked only in one profile. And suddenly I'm asking you to become everything. How you feel? Are you understanding the problem area? Challenge. Major challenge is why you are asking everything, because that's the DevOps actually. In the DevOps, everyone should do everything. This is the problem. Don't get scared. I'll give you the solutions for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. Slowly, eventually, they will migrate. Sometimes they have a client limitation also. Client also don't want to migrate to app-based and stuff like that. Yeah, but this is the one. So guys, this is what we are trying to solve. So remember, how can you do this running application in 1 second? Then for this purpose, I will teach you Docker and Kubernetes. Okay. For how can you do the release here? So we can discuss about the microservices, and I'll teach you DevOps also, maybe tools and techniques. So the last thing after this discussion is, what is DevOps then? That's a question still not answered, right? What is DevOps? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So now can I answer this question, what is a DevOps at a high level, if you have understood the background?
Yes.
So guys, understand that DevOps is a culture. Please mind it. It's a culture and mindset. Nothing else. Culture and mindset. In where? In our teams, engineering teams, in our software organizations. It's a culture and mindset. Okay, tooling part will come. Many people say, hey, I want to learn DevOps and I want to learn 10 tools. Forget about the tools. First, understand the culture, mindset. Same thing I was telling you, right? Suddenly, you are doing all this thing separately. Suddenly, I ask you to do everything. How do you feel? Tell me. You feel doing revolt. You feel feel as if you are doing revolt. You will revolt the project, you will quit the organization. But where you will go, because every organizations are looking for DevOps mindset only. Correct, now? Where would you go? Are you understanding me?
Yes.
So you have to learn, you have to change your mindset. I'm saying, yes, your mindset. Ansu, from today, you need to change your mindset. I don't want to become architect. I don't want to become a development. I don't want to become a QA. I don't want to become operations. I want to become DevOps. I want to do everything. Simple. That's a change we want. Harsh, you have to have this change. You have to have a change in each one of your mindset, and all of you will become one team, and that will become a culture. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
So now I have a team of Anshu, Harsh Kumar, Prasanna, Ram, Sureka, and Suresh, and their mindset is they're ready to do everything. That's the important thing. So the moment everyone in your team is ready to do everything, that's the place we have a DevOps culture in my organization or my project. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me little bit scare you. Don't worry, I'll give you solutions. DevOps. I am doing a coding. Please remember that. It's a very important statement. I am doing a coding for the product. Then what we call it? Dev. I am doing a coding for the testing a product. Only coding. We call it a QA. Don't run away from the coding. Okay, coding is important. I am doing coding for the infra, operations, CI/CD, integrations for a product, and we call it operations or whatever it is. So this keyword, you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you need to do the coding. There's no, many people say, hey Rajesh, give me some tools where there's no coding for it. And I want to learn, I want to become a DevOps engineer. Then I say, I mean, it's very difficult to answer that question, to be honest, because I want to tell what is a DevOps, but they want to become a DevOps engineer without a coding. So now the question is, what is a DevOps? So DevOps engineer, DevOps guys would do coding for the product, for the testing the product, and this one. Yes, I repeat, this guys, DevOps guys, everything, remember, you will do everything, and everywhere is coding. So that here you write a coding in Java, here you write a coding in Selenium, and here you write a coding in Ansible, Jenkins file, Terraforms, shell scripting, Python scripting, and all this stuff. Are you getting my points, what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Then some of you will feel little sad. I know that. Some of you will feel little sad and you'll say, hey Rajesh, how can I do the coding? I'm not done coding from last 20 years. So I will put it in a different way. Let me ask you one thing. Earlier, you were setting up the dev, think about it, dev infrastructure in one day. Now I will allow you to set up 1 second. So you save time, right?
Yeah.
Now you saved time in many other ways with the microservices. Let's discuss a little bit of it. It's a big topic, by the way. Microservices. Let's understand. Very simple logic. This is the monolithic applications. Monolithic means all features are assembled together. Let's say 20 features are in this. You see, this is your MS Office. Simple. This is your monolithic application. Now, how many teams are working for this? So let's say 20 people are working for this project. What is the duration for the release? Let's say 1 year, or let's say 2 weeks, because I should not go a little bit too old. Let's be in agile, 2 weeks. Okay, so 20 people are working and your release cycle is 2 weeks. And how much time it takes to develop build process, you know that, right? All of you? All of you? How much time it takes to build? All of you? Hello?
Yeah.
So let's say it's taking, let's say, 1 hour for build. How many times it takes to the testing? So let's say it takes 1 hour. So see that if you are in a SOAS also, so your 20 people are working, 2 weeks of release cycle, 1 hour to compile, 1 hour to test it. Now, how can you reduce this? So nothing, you change this architecture to microservices. Microservices. So what? You have 20 features, divide into the different separate features. 1 feature, 2 feature, 3 feature, 4 feature, 5 feature, 10 feature, 20 feature. Now you assign each feature, each service, 1 person, 2 person, 1 person, 2 person, 1 person, 2 person, and something like this. Are you understanding what I'm trying to do? So guys, simple thinking. In your code, you had a 1 lakh lines of code. 1 lakh lines of code. Now one service, how many lines of code you have? 5K. How much your build time? Now it was a 1 hour build time. Now it's become a 5 minutes. And how much is the testing time? 5 minutes, because code is less, testing time is less. And all this code is managed by only 1 person or 2 person.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing. I'll ask you in a simple and honest way. You are a software engineer. Aren't you, this is Suresh, you are the Suresh right now. I'll ask Suresh, you are a software engineer. Can't you in your lifetime, can't you manage 5,000 lines of code? You write a code, you write a test cases for the code, and you deploy the code. Can't you do that? Tell me, only 5,000 lines of code. I'm not asking you to write 2,000 feature, 200 feature, only 1 feature, only 1 function, only 1 service. Can't you write a code, plan the code, write a code, test the code, and deploy the code, and all this thing, reduce that time also 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Can't you do that alone? Do you need a team for it? Only for writing 5,000 lines of code? Tell me.
Yeah.
All of you?
Yep.
So it's simple. So no need to get scared. It's very simple to get scared when you say, hey, everyone will do everything. But guys, you have to understand, you change the architecture also. Earlier, we had a 1 million lines of code. In here, we become 1 lakh lines of code. And here you have just 5,000 lines of code. Only 1 function, 1 service. You don't need to take care of the entire organization's responsibilities. So now can you do this or not? Tell me. So now can you architect your 1 feature, 1 service? Can you code for it? Can you write a test cases for it? And can you operationalize for it or not? Is it possible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Because 5,000 lines of code. You know, if you sit, let's say if I'm a programmer and start writing a code, within a day I'll write a 500 lines of code. So 5,000 lines of code is nothing. It's a 1 service, 1 feature, 1 function. So change your mindset first. Okay, first thing, you say, everyone say it is like, I'm ready to become a DevOps. So I'm ready to code for the software. I'm ready for coding for the testing of software. I'm ready for the coding for the infrastructure operations, CI/CD and integration. And then after that, this mindset will become a culture in your team, because everyone will have the same mindset, and then everyone will start working towards this evolution, this migration, great migrations, which every organizations, I mean, many organizations have failed in this because of culture problem. So then we will migrate. Hey, because we want to do everything our own. So I don't want to waste 5 minutes for it. I want to just wait. I want to use 1 minute, 1 second for it. Are you understanding? Then I will teach you 10 different tools how to do that. If you have a change your mindset, then I'll teach you Docker, then I'll teach you Kubernetes, then I'll teach you AWS, then I'll teach you Jenkins, then I'll teach you Terraform, then I'll teach you Ansible, then I'll teach you Helm, and many other tools like operation monitoring tools like Datadog and New Relic and all stuff like that. Because if you want to learn that tool without changing your mindset, then still you will be stuck in the same old stuff. Are you understanding?
Yes. And thank you for explaining in such a way, because I worked in Microsoft.NET Framework. DevOps is still different for me. So this explanation is very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So guys, this is the things. DevOps, basically, you have to do everything. You have to be ready for everything, but not everything for the product, only for your functions, only for your code. And that everything means everything, from planning to coding, coding to testing, testing to the operationalize. That's the reason I'm teaching you everything. See here, look at the course structure. Certification and DevOps certified engineer. Here, look at this. So if you see that structure here, starting with this, I'm teaching this the first class. After that, I'll teach you the Linux and operating systems and blah blah. Here you have cloud. Here you learn Docker, running application within a 1 second. Here some planning tool. You have to learn everything. So do everything. Here programming Python. I'm Git. Here code analysis you are learning. Building software here you are learning. Packaging software here you are learning. How to test the software. Sorry. Here you are learning. How to deploy the software using Ansible, here you are learning. How to deploy the containers and all, here you are learning. How to manage the infrastructure within our code, from the code, here you are learning. Jenkins for CI/CD operation, monitoring all these tools. So you see that this is a planned way. So you should not get scared for everything. So here, if you look at this, if I design this all tools here, look at this. This is a platform now where you run application. This is a basically coding part and packaging, building and all. And this is a testing part somewhere here. And this is the infrastructure and operations part. So everything you do. So here you become a architect, here you become a coder, here you become a QA people, here you become operations. Only one person will do everything. Make sense?
Yes.
So yes. So change your mindset. Then see, everywhere is a code. Actually, I'll tell you. Here you have a code. Here you have a coding. 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 Here also you have coding. Here also you have coding. Jenkins file also coding. Prometheus, these all are UI based tools. So less coding, but more of configurations. Okay. Here also coding. Here also coding, Docker Compose coding. Here also cloud coding. Everywhere is coding. Actually, automation is everywhere. Are you understanding now?
Yeah.
So coding is everywhere. You need to be ready for everything. Now let's be realistic actually. So I hope at a high level you understand the DevOps, all of you.
Yeah.
But you know what? If someone asks you, okay, let me step back. If someone asks you, hey, what is a DevOps? Then you say DevOps is nothing but a kind of changes in a mindset of engineers, and changing the culture of organization. Please understand. Here it can be organization, it can be project, it can be team also. So DevOps is just a cultural changes in organization. DevOps is a mindset changes for the engineers. For what? For doing what? So every engineer should focus on coding for the product or testing or infrastructure through coding and through automation. No manual work is should be there, and everyone should be ready for everything. Everyone should be ready for working as a team. Everyone should be ready for reducing the cost for development and running software. Everyone should be ready for improving the quality of the software and releases. So like that, this is the initiative. This is the change in the mindset and culture. Okay, would you remember this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but one thing we have to understand, in reality, it's a little bit different. Okay, in reality also, it's a different. And someone said, right, I learned something about SRE from Google, and then in an interview or maybe project, they had a different things altogether. Correct? So I don't know who said this. Yeah. So there is one thing which is called reality, and there's one thing which people do it. So when you go, when you apply for the DevOps position, basically, then basically, in reality, more or less, it's a operations work actually. Okay, that's the reality. Not for every organization, but most of the organization. I've experienced personally. So they will not ask you if you are being hired as a DevOps engineer or manager or architect. They will not ask you, hey, write a code for it. No, they will ask you to manage all the CI/CD, infrastructure operations, all this one specifically, and then they call it a DevOps. But it's not a DevOps. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll ask you Jenkins more, they'll ask you Ansible more, they will ask you Terraform, they will ask you AWS. They'll not ask you how to write a code in Python or Java. Why? Because I just said, right, it's very, very difficult to change a culture and mindset of the people who's been working from last 15 years in certain culture and with certain mindset. Suddenly if you ask to change, then it's very difficult. So that's in progress. Migration is in progress. Hopefully someday all the projects will achieve, but many of the projects have achieved. Many of the projects got failed very badly, very badly. Okay, all of you.
I'm having a slightly different view here, Rajesh. So again, it's a kind of statement, because the thing is that when we are talking about containerization of the applications, basically that opens up the opportunity to use any kind of programming language, and that's where probably a lot of people used to get scared about. Because if, let's say, somebody is familiar with Microsoft.NET and then suddenly he has got an option to work on Java or maybe Python, so probably that is going to scare him out. So again, yes, we are creating a lot of we are creating a platform which basically allows you to change everything on the fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a one challenge. Let's say suddenly if you see, if you look at the architecture here, microservices architecture, microservices allow. I mean, in fact, they allow you not to change the architecture. In the beauty of a microservices concept is this can mean Java, this can mean Python, this can mean Ruby, this can mean Scala, this can mean this can. So here, when you really understand the use of microservices, then I will, let's say, if I'm an architect, then, and if I have an engineer who's saying I know the PHP, then I'll say no problem, write in PHP. This microservice, write in PHP. And if someone is saying, hey, I know Python, so you write in Python. We'll not force it. Why? Because all this communication happen through the HTTP, and HTTP is supported by PHP also, Python also, Java also, .NET also, or all this. So here I feel again there's a maybe project specific challenges and all. Maybe management everyone wants to migrate to one technology. That's a different case. But yeah, microservices do not enforce you have to change the technology. Microservices enforces you to write a smaller code, functional code, and then work on those codes, integrate, put it together, and make it software. For example, let's say if you do the shopping on Amazon.com, you know that at least while searching the product, doing research, reading the reviews, doing adding to the catalog, and then making a payment and confirmation, then going to the order history, all this thing, I don't know whether you noticed or not, but at least 20 microservices has been used actually. 20. You feel like, okay, this is just a website, but they have used different team has worked on those microservices, and each of these team have no idea about each other, but they are still working because certain protocols are there, certain procedures are there, which we need to discuss in detail in a microservices. Yeah, but yeah, challenges are there. I mean, to be honest, I just said one statement is DevOps is not as successful actually for many organizations because of many challenges. One of these you said. One thing also, lack of understanding of the concept also is the root cause of it. Let's say there is one engineer who's operation. He has no wish to become a developer. And now if you force, see, though if you have to write up 5,000 code, but he has no will for it. So how can you force for it? So so if you have a people like that, the team of course cannot migrate to DevOps, right? That's the reason I said first thing, engineers' mindset, then culture will come in an organization. Correct?
Yep.
And for that only, most of the organizations have a DevOps awareness program. So in that program, every engineers they send for the training so they can change their mindset. But I will tell you that my real experience, many calls I'm getting, and I get only one question, Rajesh, I want to become a DevOps engineer, but I don't want to code for it. And I just want to learn a UI tool and I'll want to become DevOps engineer. I really don't know what to answer. So you can understand my problem also. Okay,
That's definitely tricky, Rajesh, because when we're talking from the operations point of view, let's assume that this person is familiar with Terraform or maybe like Python language, but when he's getting into the architect or developer role during the DevOps transition, then he might need to learn the other technologies. So that's what I mentioned. Probably it's a very common problem. Again, we need to see how the industry is progressing in that. Because
and that's
because the organization I'm working on, so we are having 300 plus applications, and the applications are quite isolated. They are developed in different languages. They're in Java, .NET framework, then Python. So every kind of applications are there. Now, if we are going to re-engineer that, and at that point of time, we are expecting a operations guy to get involved and maybe work on a small piece of containerized application, then that becomes very tricky.
Yeah. So this is a transition actually. Still we are doing transition. Slowly. Right now, people see, at least we are talking, right? At least now we are talking, hey, we need to do everything. So now the new engineers which was coming, I must tell you, I'm into the corporate training. So now the freshers itself, they've been asked to learn everything actually. It's not like, okay, you learn only Java and I'll place you in the project. No, you need to learn all these tools. I mean, for the sake of discussion, these all tools from the end to end, and you have to do the everything. So that kind of mindset new engineers are coming up with. But yes, we have so many engineers from the different culture altogether. That means this culture, this era.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a DevOps. Now let me show you a few slides for better visualizations. By the way, I have a 400, 500 slides on DevOps. It's a pretty huge discussion, by the way, but I don't want you to, get lost in it because it's a waste of time. So see here, development team and operations team, we put it up together and made it one team. Okay, and that's become a DevOps team. See here. So DevOps team will do everything from the planning to coding, coding to build to test, test to release, release to deploy, deploy to there's one thing which is missing, and monitor. Okay, so DevOps team, see that involved with the design also, development also, testing also, acceptance testing also, delivery also, support also, maintenance also, capacity planning also. That means everything this team will do. Are you understanding?
Yes.
There is one team. Please remember, it's a one team. No dev team, no QA team, no SRE team, no architect team, no management team, no team, no multiple team for one product. One team for one product. Simple. And the teams, see, in real case scenario, maybe I'm just going very harsh actually, but in a team, let's say you have a 2-3 people or 5 people, maybe one people is doing more of development, and one people is doing more of QA side, and one people is doing more of operations, but all are working together. That is more important. Together in a sync. Every day they are meeting, they are talking, they are syncing, they are exchanging emails. Every day they are interacting with each other. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a DevOps stuff. Now, next thing is, then Rajesh, what is SRE? Sorry, what is a DevSecOps? So here, in short, I must tell you. So DevOps, you have understand at a high level, and then security. Earlier, it was a different team altogether. So under the DevOps, DevSecOps, what we are doing? Hey, security also incorporate with the teams, and this is called DevSecOps. Okay, so I think visualizations will be a little easier for you because too much of discussion is not good. Look at this here. This is the DevOps. Now, only understand that what we do for security. Okay, it's a big topic, by the way. What we do for the security. So for security, securing the product, we start with the planning. Then we decide the model for threat. That means what kind of issues you may have in your product. And we define the coding standard. During the coding phase, for securing, we implement the static code analysis. So Q, I'll teach you that. During the build phase, we do the vulnerability scanning. During the testing, we do the penetration testing. For release, compliance validations we do. Code signing validation during the deployment. During operate, monitor, detect, respond, recover, and monitor. So for implementing the security, we do the threat modeling, coding standards, static code analysis, vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, compliance, and blah, blah, blah. What we have done, this DevSecOps team now is doing everything. See that. So now DevSecOps team will do the design also, development also, testing also, acceptance testings also, delivery also, support also, maintenance also, capacity planning also. On top of it, during the design, they'll do the threat modeling and coding standard also. During the development, they'll do the static code analysis also. During the testing, they will do vulnerability scan also. During the acceptance penetration testing also. During the delivery, compliance validations also, support, code signing, and so on. So this is called DevSecOps. So many organizations, once you achieve the DevOps, then you migrate to DevSecOps. Very few organizations is practicing this one. Are you understanding now?
Rajesh, one quick question. So are you basically saying DevSecOps practice also allows the same set of people to carry out the security operations?
Yes, 100%. So in the DevSecOps concept, DevOps team is a team who is doing everything, plus they will do now security also. What security? You can see that in the red I have written here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do everything. Getting my point.
So do you think industry-wise will DevOps become, DevSecOps become synonymous to DevOps, or is it going to be a segregation?
No, I mean, challenge for the DevSecOps is like first to reach to the DevOps.
Yeah.
Okay. First reach to the DevOps and then incorporate the security practices. Now, so very few teams has done it. So it's a part of initiative. It's still ongoing in progress stuff. So how many organization is on DevSecOps model? How many organizations is at a DevOps model is very difficult to visualize. Why? Because you know that every organizations, the definition of DevOps changed that. So many people, what they have done, Jenkins guys itself, they
Did I miss Rajesh?
hello,
I
I'm
think we
audible.
lost him. I
Yeah,
think we
I'm
lost
audible.
Ajay
Yeah.
for a minute.
Yeah. So many different definitions we have in a different
Yeah.
project and different organizations. So it's very difficult to find a benchmark for it.
I know even with the inception of software development and everything, security has always been a secondary thought. I mean, when
Yeah.
we first were, developing something, even with web apps and SOA and all of that, security has always been, first we want to develop something and get it out the door, and then we incorporate security. It's almost
Correct.
seems like that's everywhere,
But
even
not
with
anymore.
DevOps.
Not anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
Not anymore in terms of DevSecOps. Because you
Good.
see, when you design it, you have to define the model
Yeah.
also. And
You do have to think about threat model when you're actually designing, so that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, very good. So are
Okay.
you
So
also
now,
teaching DevSecOps?
no, this is I don't think so. I have any students and participants
Okay,
from the DevSecOps. Are we having
I
anyone
see.
from the DevSecOps? For the DevSecOps?
Not as part of this course,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like you
yeah,
teach
yeah.
as a separate course.
No,
But we
this
are touching couple of tools related to security operations, right?
That's
yes,
great.
yes. That's a common tool for DevOps also, SRE also, and DevSecOps also. Because I said no, it's just an evolution. Tools are same. Context changes. Okay, so unfortunately, this month we don't have any DevSecOps, but last month we had a DevSecOps participants also. So this month we have only DevOps and SRE. Okay, now the next question after understanding the microservices and DevSecOps and DevOps. Now here, what is SRE? So again, SRE is a cultural changes. Okay, SRE is a cultural change. I would like to show you one slide so visualization will be easier. Look at this. Earlier we had a development team, which is still development team. Okay, when I said development team which include the QA people also. Please understand. And earlier we had an operations team who used to manage the production server and security, audits, compliance, all this stuff, reliability of the software, monitoring infrastructure. Okay, so they were operations team. Agree with me?
Yeah.
Now what they did, what scientists, they mean scientists, the practitioner of the software development industry, what they suggested, primarily here Google basically. They said, hey, DevOps is not working. It's very difficult to get the work done from one team or one engineer for everything. People are not cooperative, and it's very difficult because of lots of other challenges also. So let's find a midway. Let's not jump to DevOps. Let's find a midway. What midway? So let's do one thing. Let's convert the operations team SRE team. Labeling, rebranding it. So earlier we had development team and operations team. Now we have a development team and SRE team. Then you'll say, Rajesh, what is the difference then? It's just changing the name of the team actually. No, actually it's not like that. Look at this. See here. Remember that earlier operations teams were not involved. Please hear me out. Earlier operations team were not involved in design, development, testing, and acceptance. Same time, earlier development team, please hear me out. Earlier development team were not involved in delivery, support, maintenance, and capacity. They were not interacting with each other. And for any changes, if development team will make and they want to send it to operations team, they'll have to follow the process. So if it's just a 1 minute of task also, it will take 1 week. You know that. I think most of you have come from the engineering backgrounds. You know that just a task is just a one line of change, and for that, the process is to change that line is 1 week in operations, production.
Yes.
Agree with me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the problem actually. So Google says, hey, DevOps is a dream kind of stuff now because people are very reluctant to change. So let's not do something which is not having a success rate at the greater level. Success rate of implementing the DevOps was very low actually. So they say, Google suggested, let's do one thing. I follow this model, you also follow. That means Google itself follow this model actually, SRE model. So now the question again coming back to this thing, what is SRE? So what is happening? Understand that. In a development team, you have it. SRE team, you have it. Now what they are doing, they are two teams, not one team. DevOps, you have only one team, remember. There's no two teams. Still you have a two team, development and SRE, but you know what? As part of this SRE initiative, cultural changes, they will work together in many areas. They will collaborate together in many areas. For example, when the development team will start designing the software, they will call SRE team and involve with that. They will share the documents. They will share all the stuff. Earlier, they were not doing it. Now, when development team will do the development, they will also call SRE team and say, hey, I'm using this platform, this cloud, this language, this library, this Java version, this Python version, everything they will share with the SRE team. So what is the benefit SRE team will get it from here? So they'll be aware of the changes which they are going to bring it in the production cycle. They'll be ready with the changes which they are going to introduce by the development team. Are you understanding? It's like you're giving some heads up in advance on a regular basis. Are you understanding? Yeah.
Yeah.
During the acceptance testings also SRE team will be involved. Same thing SRE team has to do with the development team. During the setting up the delivery, they need to involve the development team. During the setting up the support also, they need to involve the development team. So now development team knows the SRE environment, production environment, SRE team knows the development environment. It's like both are not scared with each other. Both teams are not fighting with each other. So they understand each other and they collaborate and integrate with each other easily. So it's like the ultimate goal is to, whatever the changes coming from the development, it's very easy transitions is become happening in the SRE production. That's all. So here you see the circle where the integrations will happen, and development team will involve SRE team will involve development team, and this is again a concept. We need to practice it. So SRE team and development team, you need to train. Say, whenever you design, please call the SRE team, involve them, share the document, share the every information possible. Same thing with the SRE team. They will do everything and they'll involve the development team. So there's no surprises last moment, and war room will not be created for it. War room concept, you know that, right? Before the release, we create a war room.
Yeah.
So that will be avoided actually. Easy transitions will happen because of SRE. So now SRE again, we have a many things actually. Okay, SRE again, we have a many things, which includes like how do we interact with the people, development team. Okay, how do we create SLO? How do we create SLA? How do we monitor the infrastructure? How do we get the notifications? Okay, how do we get toil means
Manual work, counter.
Manual work,
simple. Toil means how can we avoid the manual work? Simple. How can we automate? This is a toil. Toil is a kind of work tied to running a production services that tends to be manual, repetitive, automatable, tactical, devoid of enduring value that scales linearly as a service group. So how to do that? So SRE, if you see that, SRE course I have designed in a certain way, which is here. And here all these things, see, I'm teaching you platform which you have to know, cloud, container, and this is how to manage the work request and all and documents. And here web server, how to automate the deployment, how to manage the Kubernetes environment, how to deploy, automate, how to do automation in Terraform, in Istio, console. These are all production related stakes actually. Okay, by mistake we added Jenkins here. Jenkins should not be a part of it, but you can use it if you want it. And Datadog. See, these all are monitoring tools. You can SLA, SLO for the product you can define. So here Datadog, infra monitoring. There's another tool I'm adding, Prometheus and Grafana. And here Splunk. Here another tool, ELK stack. And here performance and all Neuralink. So all these tools you are learning actually. And some of the response here you are learning, pager duties. Okay. So this is the SRE. So yeah, the objective of SRE is what? Avoiding the toil. Toil means automate everything, and these tools will help you to automate everything. Simple. Are you understanding?
So Rajesh, I have
Yeah.
a couple of questions.
Yeah.
You know, what is our mindset should be with respect to SRE?
Yeah.
First thing, like you said, as a first step before becoming a DevOps. So Google, I mean, they mentioned somewhere like DevOps is an interface and SRE is a class. Some kind of a definition. So in line to that, you are saying like we need to create SRE team first and then form a DevOps later. Am I correct?
Yes. That's what I said. I mean, in simple way, my way, I said I don't use the very technical keywords which you are saying, because it's very difficult to make my student understanding. But that's very good. You would add that terminologies. It's very good thing. So basically here, SRE has come because of there is a more failure rate with the DevOps. Now, what Google is saying in a simple way, do one thing. First, migrate to SRE. Okay, Google is saying migrate to SRE and let them integrate, not work together. Integrate together. Please understand that. So that way they are involved with each other. And now SRE team will involve the development team will involve with the SRE. Now that fear factor will go away in the next few years, let's say 3-4 years. And after that, once you say, hey, when development team will say offer to the SRE team, in a simple way I'm putting, development team will offer SRE team, hey, why don't you join us? We are working from last 3-4 years, and why don't you join us? Or maybe SRE team will say, development team, hey, we are working and collaborated, we are working in a collaboration, in a great collaborations. We are working together from last 3-4 years. Let's do one thing. Let's work together from today onwards. That's become a DevOps. So it's like,
yeah, DevOps is like they share the backlog, right? I mean, DevOps, they share the backlog of SD entire plan, design to deployment. They will share the backlog work, but in SRE we don't work for the functionality development, right? SRE.
No, I never
So
said you. I always said
will involve in all the phases, but we don't work for their basically their backlog work. SRE is more about post deployment. Once the changes are deployed into production, our role will start, right? SRE.
No. See, there's some distinct. I never said SRE will write a code. All I said is, whenever development team will do anything, involve SRE team with the knowledge. For example, hey, I am designing the software. SRE team will come to know, okay, they are designing, so we should be ready for the infrastructure also. Then development team will say, hey, I'm developing something. What you are developing? Okay, I'm developing this application on this platform, with this language, with this database, with this library, with this third-party component. Then SRE team will say, okay, see, these guys are developing today. Next month they will come to me only. So let's get this ready in our production. and let's get comfortable how this Java works. I mean, SRE team will become very comfortable with those technology, new technology. For example, let's say you had a SRE team who was managing only Python. Now, development team is writing a microservices in Java. So now SRE team will incorporate those learnings also. They will know how this Java works, how the Java runtime works, what are the troubleshooting of Java happens, how to deploy application in Java. All these things, the scary part will not come suddenly to SRE team. Are you understanding?
I'm understanding. So what is the point of aware is basically at the end of the day we need to once the changes are deployed into production, SRE need to give small kind of fixes, right? That's a end goal, right? Awareing of all this technology and learning, like what is the end goal of the SRE is to manage the system with their engineering teams. Like SRE maintains engineering and operations both, so they will deploy something on their own instead of relying on development team. They'll use their own engineers to deploy small fixes and all, right? That's the end goal, right?
See, overall, the SRE team will manage entire productions. That's no doubt about it. All I'm saying is now the scope of small fixes is very different actually. Let me remind you, operations team will not have a programmers for the product. Please understand that. It's here.
What I believe here, sorry, Rajesh. What I believe here, SRE team's primary responsibility is to ensure that your critical systems, critical applications are available beyond a certain threshold, which is maybe like 99.5 or 99.9.
SRE, yeah, that's called SRE.
Yeah, for that they need to maybe implement DevOps processes going forward.
No, here DevOps is a different thing. For that they need to integrate with the development environment, and they should be aware of. That's what I'm saying. Awareness is important.
But okay. In interviews, right, Rajesh, like maybe I'm confused, but in interview they're expecting not only aware. For non-functional related, we need to have a knowledge to do non-functional related development. Like if I create some Ansible script or something, we need to have a CI/CD pipeline to deploy. We need to be aware of Jenkins. We need to be aware of Spring Boot kind of stuff to create non-functional related stuff in SRE. Not about function, but non-functional related. That's what I am.
Non-functional. That's a correct. Yeah. That's a correct keyword. Non-functional. For example, let's say I'll put it one example. Let's say development team. I'll give you two scenario. Okay, you'll understand that. And this can be a next discussion. So development team has changed the one library from 3.1 to 3.2. Now SRE team is keep following. Sorry, ops team now, not SRE team. Operations team is keep following the old stuff, and they have not realized these changes in the library in internal product. They have it, and suddenly there is a failure in a product because of mismatching of the version of the library. So what they will do now, when you have operations team, what they will do, they will first see the changes, see the events. They will have an error. Error will be reported by monitoring team. Monitoring team will see that error, will discuss within a team. Then they will reach out to the development team, and development team will say, "Hey, you have to do this one also. There's changes in this line. There's infrastructure line, some runtime environment." So what has happened? See, solutions were there. It got fixed. The problem is fixed, but it took some time. That time was hurting for the business. That we need to avoid. So what will happen? The moment if SRE team, if any changes happen, if you bring a culture of sharing the knowledge with a different team, so then what will happen? Development team will inform, hey, we are adding this, we are planning to add this library new version, so please be aware of it. So now they will be aware of it. Understand that. Now immediately that product release has happened, so they will be aware of it, and they will change the software, that point line of code, small fixes, without doing this kind of firefighting. So there's no downtime, and that is the purpose. That's one of the reason SRE team has come. How this has come? So how this can happen? When they will start sharing knowledge of it with each other. Okay, so that small fixes, you are 100% correct. They are responsible for operations, productions, and all. 100% correct. Their objective is to keep the SLA and SLO and all this 12 less SLO matched and 12 less. That's 100% correct. But understand the concept. Why we migrated from ops to SRE? So they can work together. I repeat, not in isolated environment. They should work together and share some knowledge. So this kind of firefighting will not happen. Are you understanding?
Yes, so bottom line is like one more point which I right now understood and which maybe my team should follow is something we need to be involved in every phase of development with the development team, SRE, some of the
Correct.
SRE folks at least. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
See here, if you look at the testing, we are not involved SRE team. We don't bother about the functionality. All we bother about the infrastructure and environment, because that's not SRE team can do something here. Correct. Same team, if you see the development team is not bothered about the maintenance. Why? They don't need to do that. They are busy in other work. So yes, good thing. Like good, we are having more inputs from you guys. More inputs.
Rajesh, see,
One more
if
question,
it is
right? So in terms of capacity. Yeah, sorry.
sorry,
Yeah.
Rajesh, if it is just basically collaborating with the design and development team, then again, are we not bypassing the change management process of the organization? Because change management process takes care of the exact same thing.
Yes, but it was not effective. Why? Because I'll tell you that's how the change management, we call it a CAB meeting. Sorry. Sorry. So we call it a CAM meeting. So CAM meeting, what happens? One person from your team, understand that one person of your team will attend that meeting, and they will keep running the issues which is raised each against each other. They will not, have a discussion at the engineers level. I repeat, engineers level, like engineering details, like those changes which is done by engineers. See, when you ask programmers what is your main objective, they will say, hey, my objective is to bring that features up and running. What library, what changes I do in the code, what environment I change, I don't care about it. I don't care about the support. I don't care about the operations. My goal is to bring that features up and running without a bug. For that, they will do the hundreds of changes. That change is not migrated, that change is not transferred to the architect level, or maybe the management level. For example, I have also done the coding. No one is checking that what library I have used. No one is checking what packages I have used, and all stuff like that. Third party application. In the testing they're worrying about is like functionality should be working. Now, when the same code goes to the operation, then operation say, hey, you cannot run this third party library. You cannot run this version, or this version we are not supporting. We don't have this infrastructure in place. So those kind of stuff which comes only in the firefighting mode. So all I'm saying is, see here, all I'm saying is not like something which we were not doing earlier. We were doing, but it was consuming lots of time. But when these engineers start working together and start sharing the knowledge, then this kind of firefight time wastage will be avoided. That's all. Time wastage will be avoided.
That makes sense.
Are you getting the point?
Yeah. Basically, in case of any red flags, that can be eliminated during the initial stages of development. That's
Yes.
what the SRE team is going to bring value in the whole process.
Yes.
That makes sense. Thanks,
Yeah.
Rajesh.
So that's the SRE. So again, understand that high level SRE is an evolution from ops. SRE team should change their mindset. Which way? They should work with the development team very closely on a daily basis. They should be aware of what they are doing. Development team. Same time, development team also should be trained to talk to the SRE team on daily basis to update what their changes they are making in the code base or environment or something like that. So this team, SRE team, can effectively work. For SRE team, the tool set almost as shared. For matching the SLA, SLO, and all, you have a monitoring team. All kind of monitoring team tools I have added here. All kind of monitoring tools I have added. Automation tool, SRE team should avoid that 12. For the automation, I have added so many tools here for automating include from here. And understanding the platform, here you have few tools and stuff like that. So yes, this is the SRE. Now, I must tell you here, DevOps itself is a very huge discussion. SRE also is basically a day off or 2 days of discussion. So I would suggest you can look for the slides, which is here, and all the slides for DevOps, DevSecOps. Here you have DevOps. Here you have 400, 500 slides. You get it. And for SRE, here you have. Spend some time over there. And in LMS also, detailed recordings are available only on DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE for few hours. Okay, so that also you refer. Again, I must tell you here, if you want to be representing yourself as a SRE guy for organization, or if you want to represent yourself as a DevOps guy for the organization, then you should know all the technical jargons and the challenges, real challenges of the project. Sometime I remember that 10 years before or 8-9 years before, I attended many DevOps sessions, and they were using not the realistic use cases, but they were using very standard terminologies which we hardly use on a daily basis. So it was very difficult for me to understand what exactly the DevOps is. But when I created the same keyword, I transform in my way, because I was engineer, then senior engineer, then manager, like that. So then I found out it's very, no, I mean, when you teach someone who wants to learn DevOps, let's not talk about the very standard sophisticated English keyword, rather than something which we use on a daily basis in engineering team. For example, toil is nothing but is something you can say, hey, why you are doing the manual work, or something which is repetitive work and all stuff like that. But in English we call it a toil, and standard terminology is toil. So like that, yes, you have to visualize that. You have to go through this standard terminologies also if you want to represent yourself. If you want to work as a tech guy, then you have to be pro in these tools actually. After once you join the SRE team, no one will ask you what is SRE. They will ask you, hey, do you know Docker, Kubernetes, Maven, and all this stuff, Terraform.
Infrastructure as a code is part of SRE job in some areas.
So Terraform, see, you read this infrastructure coding.
Terraform infrastructure coding.
Yeah. So CI coding you can do through Jenkins file. Infrastructure coding you can do through Terraform. Configuration management, deployment coding you can do through Ansible. So all this, I repeat, everywhere is just coding. So do not miss this coding everywhere. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, good, super.
Yeah. So this is the stuff which I wanted to convey. So yep, I hope you have understood why we are learning DevOps. You are learning DevOps because one day you should do everything. One day, not today. Okay, not tomorrow, not next month. One day. And for that, journey has started today. That means, see, you learn here. I'm teaching you programming also. So let me programming also. One programming I'll teach you here. In this course, I have added Python. Okay, so don't get scared. I'm not asking you to become a programmer, but you should know what is a Python, how to write a program, how to test, how to build it, how to package it, how to test it, what are the frameworks we use it, how it works, database component, and also. So once you are in a meeting of that discussion, you should not be blind. Oh, what they are talking about. So all this thing you should understand.
Rajesh, do you work with Golang?
I know a little bit of Golang, but I'm not a very good trainer. So if you need a trainer for Golang, Pat will help you with it. And
okay, sounds good.
yes, I know the scripting side of Golang, but not the development side. There's a two part of any programming language. One, let's say Python, you can use for the system programming. I can do that very well. In Python, I can do the product development very well. But for in terms of Go, I did only system programming, not a product programming.
Okay.
So let's say if you write us some script in Golang, I can help you. But if you say, hey Rajesh, I want to do the product development in Golang, then no.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you though.
Okay, so any other questions, guys, if you have?
You've been talking for a long time. Do we get breaks or do we
No,
have
I
set
think
times for breaks?
no. This was an introduction session, so more or less understanding sort of it. So this session is over if you do not have any question. Next session onwards, we will learn all the tech things. So tech things, we'll have a lots of things to talk about it. Virtual box and here Linux and all everything we'll talk about it. AWS, we have so much of things to talk about. So I think if you don't have any further question, we'll give up this session to the rest.
I had
Oh,
one
you
question.
mean to say the 11 to 3 are the sessions from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. or is just one session a week?
No, there will be every weekend there will be one class, 11 a.m. to what is this? 3 p.m. Yes, 3 p.m. 4 hours class.
That is
Oh, okay.
both days, Saturday and Sunday, right?
That's correct. Tomorrow also we'll have a class for it.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm going to teach you a platform which includes CentOS, Linux, Ubuntu, VirtualBox, but Vagrant and stuff.
So I had a question about like the tech stuff. Do we like you recommend follow you along like while you do it or how?
Sorry, Harsha, I could not hear you clearly.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
share your LinkedIn profile so that we can follow you?
I'm going to share with you these notes what I wrote just right away, and every information you can get it here.
But we also wanted to get connected with you on social network like LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, let me go there. Here, if you go to this site, and here, just a second, just let it load. See, here you have my Facebook, Twitter,
Oh, okay.
video, YouTube, and LinkedIn. All are here.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
more questions, guys?
my question was like let's say tomorrow we're gonna go into the Linux and all tech stuff. So
Right.
do you recommend like how we set up the tech on our computers as well and follow along?
No, this is okay. That's not possible. The reason is this is the only 4 hour session. That happened most of the time in the corporate classroom session where I saw 1 hour demo and then 1 hour lab sort of thing. We cannot have this one, otherwise this course will become too long. So what I will do, I will show you everything in the next 4 hours of the session, including Vagrant, VirtualBox, CentOS, Ubuntu, VMs, and everything. And what you need to do, you have a recordings, and in offline, grab your laptop and start doing the stuff which I have shown you. And then if you have any questions, again, you are in a group, you can post it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a lab oriented sessions, it's a demo oriented sessions only.
Okay.
Okay, more questions, guys?
So we are closing the session for today, Rajesh. You're done?
Yes, we are done with it. Yeah.
So Rajesh, it's gonna be twice a week, right? And
Yes, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. So from
Generally
tomorrow
from
onwards,
11 to.
yeah, from tomorrow onwards only we have a tools to learn. So I would request you have 1 week of time frame to learn this tool. So I'll teach you every week on an average 2 tools, and 5 days you get a time to practice it along with your probably office work. Any questions, again, feel free to put it in WhatsApp group, and like that will continue for 2 months and we'll finish the session.
And what will help us learn better tomorrow? What can we do today, this afternoon, to be prepared for tomorrow, Rajesh?
See, it's very difficult to say it like that, but tomorrow I'm going to teach you Linux. Again,
Okay.
if you don't know Linux, then probably if you spend some time with the Google and become comfortable actually. So
Sure.
that way it will be helping you. But yeah, because it's a professional training, and all of you are from the working background and all. So
Yep.
yeah, it's very difficult to tell prerequisite.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But one more thing, yes, that's a good idea actually. All of you get a LMS access actually. So if you can go through the
Yeah,
recordings,
that's
if
what
you
I
have
was
the time,
hoping for. Yeah.
yeah. So all of you, if you go through the recording and come up with a preparation, for example, I'm going to talk about Docker. Now you go through the recording, learn from them, and come up with a question saying that, hey Rajesh, I had the problem here. while talking, while I'm showing you the demo, then you can come up with the questions saying that, Rajesh, I was having this problem, can you solve it? So immediately I can solve that problems ad hoc basis. So that way, I think your learnings will be very fast and effective.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind. I am looking at LMS, and there is a DevOps course there and Linux also. I guess depending on your skill level, you can just go through whatever you need to go through then. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Sounds good.
More questions, guys?
Well, this was a great session, Rajesh. Thank you for explaining, especially about the mindset and the culture. That's been the most valuable for me because, you know, my team right now is doing a lot of DevOps and I just wasn't comfortable with it. But listening to you explain the mindset and the culture, I can easily adapt it now. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow onwards, we have only tech stuff, only demo stuff. No Jagrans, no theory part, and stuff like that. Let's get start our journey from tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Rajesh. Thank you.
Bye.